Miss Universe season is finally here, and as usual at Miss Universe, there are some very big threats this year, but I thought it would be interesting to sort of try and figure out who are the countries that have been great threats at Miss Universe in recent editions and are still coming strong this year. And so I took it upon myself to look at Miss Universe's record from 2020 up until last year's edition 2022, so about 3 years, because let's be real, in my opinion, Miss Universe went through a slight change in 2020. I don't know what happened. That whole edition, I think all of my South African brothers and sisters can concur. We try to pretend it does not exist, but alas it does, and I do feel like 2020 was a big turning point for Miss Universe. I can't quite put my finger on why, but I do feel like 2020 brought something different, and for that reason I'm going to look at modern Miss Universe from 2020 onwards. I definitely feel like even before and JKN took over Miss Universe from the IMG era, I feel like 2020 started a whole new era of Miss Universe, and so that is what we will be looking at today. The first country who I think has been doing well at Miss Universe as of recent and is bringing it also at Miss Universe this year is India. If you guys remember, India has been very, on and off at Miss Universe prior to 2020, but in 2020 they sent the gorgeous ADLINE Castellino to Miss Universe, and guys, this woman was so amazing. She was an incredible contestant for India. In fact, a lot of people, including myself, thought that she might take the crown at Miss Universe 2020. But of course we know what happened next in 2021, only some months later, because Miss Universe 2020 of course was held in the year of 2021 in May. And so in December of that same year, India came, I wouldn't say even stronger, but came pretty strong again, of course with HARNAAZ SANDHU, who ended up taking the title. And in the most recent edition, the 2022 edition of Miss Universe, India once again found themselves in the top 10. So I definitely would say that India this year is coming pretty strong. This year they have an incredible contestant as well, who is extremely beautiful to me. She's sort of giving Pia Wurtzbach vibes, like in her face, but her body is so elongated, and I just think that this woman is gorgeous as well. And I definitely think that India's contestant this year definitely has the potential. There is some behind the scenes tea about India and South Africa's contestant that I need to get in with you guys, but that's a topic for another video, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. Then I have to mention the Dominican Republic. Now, unfortunately, the Dominican Republic did go unplaced in the 2021 edition, so the one held in December of 2021, but they did place in the top 5 in both 2020, in the 2020 edition and in the 2022 edition. In fact, of course, at Miss Universe 2022, the Dominican Republic was the second runner-up. In 2020, of course, they did amazing as well. And so I definitely think that the Dominican Republic is just on fire, except of course for the 2021 edition. But this year as well, there is a very promising contestant. To be honest with you, the most standout thing about her for me at the moment is that she is also Mark Anthony's ex, which this man is just a menace to pageant society and should be kept out of all Miss Universe events. But that's besides the point. The woman that the Dominican Republic has representing them this year also has a lot of potential. A lot of people love her. So there's a strong potential for a third top 5 placement for the Dominican Republic this year. Then, of course, I have to mention the powerhouse themselves, Colombia. Of course, Colombia, no surprises here, has managed to place 3 years in a row at the 2020 edition, the 2021 edition, and most recently the 2022 edition. In 2020, unfortunately, Colombia only managed to place in the top 21. In the 2021 edition, Colombia did find themselves in the top 5 with this gorgeous woman who I absolutely adored. And of course, last year they were in the top 10. This year, I adore Colombia. Colombia is just an amazing country at Miss Universe. Well, they're amazing everywhere. Basically, you can pretty much usually always expect to see Colombia in the semi-finals, no matter which pageant you're watching, because they are an incredible pageant country. But this year, they are quite the trailblazers, because they, along with Guatemala, of course, are sending a mother and a wife to represent them. So this year's Miss Universe Colombia, Camila Avello, is actually a mother and a wife, and I think that that's absolutely incredible. Not to mention she's beautiful, she has the charisma as is to be expected from Colombia, and so I cannot wait to see where Colombia places this year, because to me it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how high is Colombia going to place. Guys, another one of the fighters at Miss Universe is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has also managed to place these 3 editions in a row. In the 2020 edition, they were in the top 10. In the 2021 edition, they were in the top 10. And of course, at the 2022 edition, they were in the top 5, guys. Puerto Rico has been killing it at Miss Universe these past years. They truly have become a fave of mine, which is amazing. You know what? It's so amazing about Puerto Rico. And I know a lot of international women to come to compete in Puerto Rican pageantry as well, but I think that it's just so cool that Puerto Rico, you know, theoretically is a very small island, you know, in terms of population and in terms of, you know, square kilometers. And I just think it's so cool that they've managed to achieve all of this in the pageant world, despite being a relatively small nation. And I think this year, do I even need to say that Puerto Rico is a favorite of mine this year for Miss Universe? Guys, KARLA GUILFU, she is just one of my favorites. I adore KARLA GUILFU so much. Ever since she competed at Miss Supranational back in 2021, she was first runner-up to my home country, Namibia, when we won, and I just have such fond memories of her. She's graceful, she's elegant, she's statuesque, her smile even is so magnetic, and so I am just so glad that KARLA GUILFU is competing again, and at Miss Universe at that. I'm just so happy to be seeing her competing again, because I loved her at Miss Supranational 2021. Now, of course, lastly, guys, I couldn't talk about the most powerful countries at Miss Universe this year without, of course, mentioning the USA. The USA, we know, has almost never gone unplaced at Miss Universe, so that is to be expected. But since they did have a win last year, I do feel like we have to keep a watchful eye on their girl, even though she hasn't been standing out that much, I must admit. But I still had to mention them, because they did place the past 3 years. I mean, when don't they place? They were in the top 21 in 2020 edition. Then they went into the top 10 in the 2021 edition. And last year, of course, at the 2022 edition, the USA won Miss Universe. So they have to be looked out for this year. Just, you know what I like about other pageant countries nowadays? They're embracing more of the sort of natural thing, whereas I feel like the USA, they're still doing like a lot. If you know, you know. They do just too much of everything. Too much makeup, too much hair, too much. I can't even see bare skin of some USA ladies sometimes. But I do feel like this year, these are the 5 most powerful countries, aka the countries we should actually be keeping a keen eye on. I know a lot of these countries are already faves. Well, I would say all 5 of them are already being watched like hawks, because we know that they could swoop in anytime and take the crown. And to be honest with you, I really, out of all of these 5 countries, if I should choose one country to take it, guys, I'm putting myself on the spot, but I would definitely choose Puerto Rico because I like her a lot. You know, I've followed her, I've seen her in another international pageant, right? So I have that perspective of having intensely followed Miss Supranational 2021, mostly because I knew that my country's representative at the time, you know, had the power, had the capability to take it. So I was like on that. I was on Miss Supranational 2021 like this, laser focus. And so for that reason, I also got to know KARLA GUILFU, who's representing Puerto Rico in that way, and just, she has the most beautiful everything, and I just want to see her succeed. So let me know what you guys think. Who am I missing out? Obviously for this video I looked at the specific countries' track record the past 3 years, but of course there are many other girls this year whose countries have never done well at Miss Universe, let alone in the past 3 years, who are coming in out of left field. Of course they will get their time in the spotlight when it comes to other videos of mine, but I feel like this year these are the 5 countries, you know, they've always done well, they will continue to do well, and for that reason we must keep a keen eye on their contestants this year, especially me being from South Africa and Namibia respectively. These women might steal our crown. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.